got the microphone set. I love a cold open that doesn't make any sense. I mean, that's what the audience come for. They don't come for like actual thought. They just like us rambling.
Yeah, they just want to hear our useless rambling.
And that's it. And welcome everyone to the newest episode of Better in 3D. I'm your host, Matthew Grenier. With me is producer Molly. How you doing, producer Molly?
Molly is good. Molly is contemplating life and the meaning of chocolate.
Really? Because I'm thinking about, I was contemplating chocolate and the meaning of life. I mean, it's so weird that we met in the middle here.
It is.
You literally put peanut butter in my chocolate. That's just happened.
I don't like peanut butter.
Oh, that's the joke from the commercial.
I don't. Okay.
Molly Kitten, sometimes you throw a wrench in my jokes. I don't like it.
Well, that's funny because there's a hammer laying on the table
There
right
is
now.
a hammer on the table.
Don't move it.
We'll die, won't we?
We'll die.
That's what's happening. So everyone out there in audio land, is that what we're going to call it? I felt terrible as soon as I said audio land.
That was weird.
Oh, that was awful. I apologize. Everyone out there in the universe. We're just doing a little mini episode about some movies that we've seen or re-seen or just talked about, mostly because I haven't talked on, being recorded for a while. I just had to do it. It's like a drug.
Yeah, Matt can't live without people hearing his voice.
Which is funny because no one listens to this podcast. So it's literally a placebo effect we got going on here. My madness is being held off by the fact there's a microphone in my face.
I like that. I like that this is your therapy, and also like it's a hobby, but it's more than that. It's your therapy and your lifeblood.
It's the only reason I don't go crazy and just run through the cactus field naked. It's just that crazy.
The cactus. Where are we getting cactuses? It's
Don't
cold
worry
outside.
Don't worry about it. I got means. Okay, I
don't doubt it.
I know people means. I know Mike Szymanski. Okay, that's how it happens.
Okay.
That's a joke for 5 people, and only one of them are listening. Josh Mitchell, you know who you are. So what we're doing today, first of all, if you have never listened to this podcast, this is a weird one to jump into, but here we go. If you want to know what we're all about, we're a bunch of people with, average IQs, but above average livers. Yes, this is a drinking movie podcast because in Wisconsin, why do anything unless you're going to do it drunk? And that's what we do here.
We live up to Wisconsin's name. Let me tell you, I thought Iowa went hard, living in Iowa for 21 years, and then I moved to Wisconsin, and I was sadly mistaken.
And then realized, you guys were all playing checkers when we were playing chess. Like, come on, we know how to do this shit.
I'm sorry, we were in the cornfield. We don't know what chess is.
Okay, how do I put this in a way? You guys were all playing horseshoes while we were playing cornhole.
That's fair.
Okay.
That I get.
I know. There we go.
You were drinking Miller while we were back there chugging down Busch.
Oh, sweet Busch Light. Shout out to Carroll College and their 1088 30 packs of Busch Light. How did any of us graduate? Oh, we didn't. How we we're going on. So what we're doing today is, further, I gotta tell you what I'm drinking. I'm drinking something fancier today. I went to a fancy liquor store where there was like pretty ladies in aprons giving out free samples of booze and free samples of cheese and asked me if I would like to tour the humidor, which I did. I didn't know what I was talking about. What's a walk-in humidor? I would love to see your walk-in humidor. I knew what I was doing. I smoke all the time. But they got me this Postcard Pils. It's an American Pilsner from Green Bench Brewing in St. Petersburg, Florida. I'm drinking a Florida beer. Oh, now I'm upset with myself. That's 4.7% alcohol. That's pretty high for a Pilsner, but that's a really weird place to get booze. Nothing good ever comes out of Florida, right?
Absolutely nothing.
No, nothing, right? I can't think of it.
You can't have Florida. That's a lot. I won't have that.
I'm sorry. I feel ashamed for myself right now.
Yes.
And Molly's just drinking in sunshine and happiness. Like she says she's going to drink water to... In her defense, we are going to get wasted at bars afterwards, so she's trying to pace herself.
I am trying. I have learned that when you go out with Big Matty G, you pace yourself because it's about to get wild. You're going to wake up in a dumpster. Your feet are going to be inexplicably in different socks than you came out with. It's a trip and it's a time. At
the very least, you always wake up with a different cowboy hat. You didn't go out with a cowboy hat, but you come back with a cowboy hat on.
And see, that's weird for me because, we're in a city and I left the cowboy hats. And
we don't go to country bars. Where do we get cowboy hats from? It doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense. And as long as you don't wake up in a fedora, I feel like the night was a success.
What if I'm waking up only in a fedora? Like, that's it. Just a fedora. On a hardwood floor, no blankets, no nothing. Just a fedora and a 7-Eleven Big Gulp.
Fedoras are a hard no.
Okay.
Hard no.
Hard no for fedoras.
Can't have it.
For the record, I do own a fedora. It was a gift for me one year from my stepmother, and I had to like, oh, thanks. Like, what do I do with this? It's a fedora.
An avocado. Thanks.
So I own it. It sits in my closet. I decided you can only wear a fedora twice 3 times a year without like getting the shit kicked out of you. I mean, there's a whole group of people who can wear fedoras and it's fine. I can only wear a fedora twice a year without getting shit kicked out of me. One, Halloween for some kind of costume. Okay. And I kind of somewhat ironically on New Year's Eve, like I'm gonna wear a fedora for a second, and when I get super drunk, I'm gonna throw it into the crowd. It would look really good with my tie vest combo this year. You know it would have.
Have you ever gone out and not lost your hat?
Yeah, a bunch of times. Just not with you.
Yeah. Every time I've been with you, I think you lose a hat, or we lose you entirely and you run away from us.
I mean, there is an amazing Doctor Who winter knit cap at a strip club. All Molly's fault, by the way. I want to just go home, Mom. Molly made me go to the strip club.
You and your boys, Dr. Joe, everybody.
Not Dr. Joe. He was not there.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't remember who. I had vague memories of that night because I got drunk with a bunch of Maddie G's friends. And
I think you should be more happy that you were just made an official dude for the night. It was a boys' night. We're like, oh, Molly counts.
That's fair. I felt very anointed. I felt very anointed by the fact that, like, everybody loved me.
Yeah.
Everybody loved me. They knew me not, and they were buying me drinks. They were loving me. They were like, she's coming to boys' night. It's great.
Well, I mean, I so rarely give my stamp approval things, and when I do, it's kind of a home run. Like, you're gonna love this. Like when I tell them this is an amazing restaurant, this is a great movie, this is a great beer. When I go, this is an awesome lady, they're like, okay. They just took it as like Matt knows what he's talking about. He does not bring along, he doesn't bring duds along.
I feel honored and blessed.
There you go. So enough about our personal lives. Let's talk about movies because we're trying to keep this under a certain time for a mini episode. So we either have seen some movies new, myself, or some movies that we talked about in previous episodes, or I don't know, in our real life, but we just finally got around to seeing. So not actually new, but new to us. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
So I did happen to see the big one was Glass, which was, Molly, have you seen Unbreakable and Split?
I have seen neither.
Wow. So this is the third parter of this M. Night Shyamalan trilogy. And so I'm going to tell you how because I was very excited going in, because Unbreakable came out, I'm not going to say, like, I'm just guessing without looking up, probably like 2002. Like, there was probably maybe just the X-Men movie and the Spider-Man movie out. Like, hardly, maybe not the X-Men movie, maybe just Spider-Man and Blade. It was like just real early days of comic book movies. So much so that when you made a comic movie, you kind of had to hide the fact it was a comic movie. And Unbreakable leaned into it. There's the whole mythos of comics. It was really cool.
2000.
God, it's even earlier than I thought. So we just had Blade, and it came out the same year as the X-Men. So it was right there. And its idea was basically in the first one, if you haven't seen Unbreakable, and I try not to give too much away because all M. Night Shyamalan movies have big twists. What if the idea of comic books or superheroes in general were not like as far-fetched we thought? Like, just like any story, there was like a kernel of truth. And like the idea that there's heroes out there with special powers, but not the way we think, not like flying and lasers, but like just someone who's just stronger and meant to protect us. Like that's his genetic possibility. Sam Jackson plays the character as Mr. Glass, which we find his name a little later. He's a man who's insanely intelligent, like genius level through the roof, but has super breakable bones. He's like some like 200 broken bones or something like that, crazy amount of numbers. And his thought was, if someone like him existed, why could the opposite live? So he was searching the world for all these disasters, and there's one where this train wreck happens, and everyone dies but one man. It's Bruce Willis, and his name's David Dunn, and we find out through his like that he's unbreakable. Like he's very strong. Like him with a car, he's gonna bounce back, and he's got this weird ability to sense danger. If he puts his hands on, you can kind of see like your darkest sin kind of deal. And it's this kind of weird origin story of a real superhero in the real world, and it's pretty great. Then I'll flash for like 18 years later. Oh no, sorry, 6 years later, Split comes out, which is a great movie with James McAvoy about this person with split personalities, and one of them has this he calls the Beast. And when the Beast comes out, the idea is like if you believe in something so much that you can like almost change your actual like biochemistry, and he becomes stronger, and his skin becomes tougher, and he can walk on he's got like claws almost, and his veins pop out, kind of like Mr. Hyde scenario. And the whole movie, you're not really sure if this is real or he's just crazy. The idea is he kidnaps these girls, and he's kind of going to kill them at one point, all these different personalities. It's a good movie, mostly because James McAvoy is just like chewing the scenery. He's like, no one's acted harder in his life to get this to happen, so he's killing it.
Yeah, and I wanted to see Split to an extent, because James McAvoy looked so good in it. I was intrigued by his performance, and I was intrigued by the younger actresses.
I forget her name, was Anna Taylor or something like that. The one main actress is great, and she kind of holds that movie together. Because James McAvoy's so over the top, and he's great. And I actually was really surprised he didn't get nominated for something just because the acting's so great. But her story, her very subtle story, just like in the way Unbreakable happened. Because Unbreakable is this when M. Night Shyamalan is at his best. I'm just going to call him M. Night because his last name's ridiculous. Is when he has a fantastic story, but the whole plot, even the twist, or like the crux of the story is this kind of slow, drawn out story of the main characters, like character development. And that happens with David Dunn. You don't know why he has not. He's just a security guard. You don't understand why a man who's like a college football star, had all this potential, who's obviously unbreakable and super strong, is doing what he's doing. He's like just being a stay-at-home dad who's on the verge of divorce, who's miserable and just doing that. And you find out through the movie. Spoilers. That it's because he loved his girlfriend, and he realized after he got out of that car, he survived the first car wreck, that like she almost died, and like he even knew somewhat there that he was gonna put aside his greatness for her.
Yeah. And
then he denied who he was. And this one, you get they call the Horde. That's the name of the split character. You get his backstory a lot through the whole thing, where realize he was abused and tortured as a small child by his mother. And is banned by his father, and that's what this caused this psychotic break. But her story, really slowly comes out, and almost at the end of the third act, you see a quick flashback, and her story is so troubling and poignant that makes this work, and she's great in it. She's like the weird tether that makes this whole thing kind of work.
Anya Taylor-Joy is her name, and she hasn't been in. She was in Morgan and The Witch.
Oh, she was in Morgan. Oh, she's great in The Witch.
Which I've seen none of those, but there was something intriguing to her that I thought looked really good. The reason I haven't seen it is because it's all centered around dissociative identity disorder, and the movie kind of twists what the actual disorder is. It very much does, and after that movie, there was a huge population of people who misinterpreted that was dissociative identity disorder. And I, as a huge fan of United States of Terra, and I loved that portrayal of DID, so I think that was one of the reasons I didn't see Split. Was I kind of lost it.
I don't know. I feel like it didn't.
You had to know that wasn't what it was.
And I feel like the movie makes it very clear, because even the characters say this is one of the doctors is this is not DID. This is not, because it's not acting. It's not. Mm-hmm. Manifesting in the right way, basically.
Yeah.
But either way, good movie, and she survives the attack of the first one. How much I spoil? I mean, Split's been out for a while now. Either way, because in the character of the Horde kills people who are that are perfect, basically, and are sacrificed. They're selfish that they have this great, perfect life, and they're not broken. He is the guardian of the broken, and she's broken. And they even bond. In this third movie, she comes back because she's still almost considered a friend. Mm-hmm. In this weird kind of twisted, we both been through hell together kind of way. So the second movie, this movie is now, and the big twist at the end of Split was at the post-credit scenes, there are people watching the news saying someone should stop this person, and you turn around and Bruce Willis is watching it, and he's David Dunn. He goes, "Yeah, someone really should." And then that's this whole movie. So now it's 18 years later, which one? And from the Unbreakable, he's out trying to find this killer he's now amped up. He's killing people left and right now. It's it's so. And it's his son, because you meet in the first one, who's 5 in the first movie, or 6, or real young. They have the same actor play him that many years later. I didn't realize that kid became an actor that you've seen him other things. So it's not like he was not been an actor this whole time.
Yeah.
And they work together. The internet and the newspapers refer to a vigilante called the Overseer. And that's him. This is a guy in this weird green hood, rain jacket, who stops criminals. So he's been out doing this thing very small. But he's been doing that, and they're working together, and he tracks down this guy and stops him and saves these girls, but they get arrested, both of them together, because he's a vigilante and he hurt some people, and one of the girls got hurt. What happened? And they basically go to a psychiatric facility because your girl Sarah Paulson, I know how much you love, shows up, and she's a doctor who says she's special. So there's this new phenomenon that's going on where people think they are superhero comic book characters, and I'm here to convince you that you're not. And basically she's trying to explain their special abilities, Like he really can read people's thoughts. He thinks, I just think you're she's talking like magicians who can like read people's body language. I think you do that. Like I think you're a genius at that, and you're just doing it subconsciously. You don't realize that you're just reading on their own body languages and stuff like that. You're not actually seeing. And then she's trying to convince them, they're both crazy, and they want to help them. And then they bring back. There was already one there, which is Sam Jackson, Mr. Glass, who has been comatose this whole time, but really he's been faking him, and like he's there because he was the villain for the first one. So all three of them in the same room, and once he sees that there's someone there who can help him, he just gets a plan to break them out and do stuff. So I'm not going to spoil too much of this movie. Not as good as the first two movies. The first half, it's phenomenal. I was so excited because I was excited for this movie, and it was going, and it was very good. Then we get to the big climax of the thing. Like the big problem is it seems like M. Night, for a guy who's supposedly loves comic books and brings so much comic books into it, he seems like he's only made one or two comics and like didn't realize there's like other nuances to it. He's really laying heavy-handed with the comic references, and like the big thing is people in this world that he's built this like, and it's like it's been 20 years. We all know what comic books are. It's like he still acts like people like the mainstream don't know what like everyone knows comic books now because they're part of the world. Yeah. Like people wouldn't be so like shocked by a comic book. So he still has that same kind of vibe. Like, oh, no one knows what's actually happening if this is playing out like a comic book. I mean, the ending's fine. It's not as good as the first two. It does have a twist like they always do. And I feel like he sacrifices a pretty great ending, which we were hoping for this twist. It's actually, as twist goes, he does not bad. I did see it coming. Unlike the other two, which I didn't. Split and Unbreakable. I did not see either big twist coming.
Yeah.
And Split had two twists, which is great. Because you got the post-credit one. This one, I felt this was happening. It was going to happen. Well, not exactly this, but it kind of makes the storyline of the first, almost like the way like if you watch The Dark Knight Rises, it makes the Batman Begins better. Mm-hmm. Even though Dark Knight's still the best, like it makes those two storylines have some kind of continuity.
Yeah.
So it really makes Unbreakable more rounded and seems right. So I would give it like a B-. It's fine. I wonder if I want to watch it again because I wonder if I was just let down because I was so excited for it.
Yeah.
But it's a passable movie.
And I really love Sarah Paulson. And when I saw she was playing like a psychologist, doctor sort of something, I was intrigued because she does so well with like this analytical, if you saw her in the OJ series, she has this analytical and like lawyer side that she brings in this nuance of like the rest of the life to her, this humanity, I guess. Mm-hmm. And so seeing her in another like analytical role, I was intrigued. So
I'm gonna give a big spoiler because I doubt you're gonna see all three of these movies. So
no.
So if you don't know the spoiler, you fast forward a minute because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big spoilers. So she's the villain. And what's so great about her in the movie, why she kind of holds the movie together, is because she is a villain of necessity, and she does actually literally care and want to help these people. But once again, spoilers, she works for a group that's around for 10,000 years that has been systematically killing any aberrant human beings who have powers. The idea like Achilles and Hercules and Odysseus were real people, and then at one point humans got together and said, "Hey, God should not walk among us," and they kill them.
Oh my!
And she has to make the call. To like, so she literally, because they've been killed here, she was a doctor and said, "Hey, I'm going to try to make these people convinced that they're not supernatural and trick them. And if they do, then we don't have to kill them." But she's the one, she even says when they kill Bruce Willis at the end, goes, "You were quiet and you were small and we were content to let you go. But when you were on live TV fighting this thing, we had to put you down." And they kill him. And,
oh my God!
And then like that's not even a big spoiler. That's the first twist. There's another twist at the end that actually makes it better. I won't give that away. So if you listen to this through, there is actually a twist on that twist. But and I saw that twist coming because she feels to care too much and too blinded by like what she should know. Like he's bending steel. Like no weird mutation does that. Like he gets shot and he survives. Like she's acting like she just somehow like is blinded by like you were meant to believe that she's just such a scientist. She won't believe in the supernatural. Yeah. And but she's that weird kind of like angel of death, kind of like she's sad that she has to be the killer that she is, kind of deal.
I'm intrigued, and I think I probably will at some point watch Split because I'm so intrigued by it.
I think you should watch Unbreakable. It's the best of the three. Like hands down.
I'm not a huge Bruce Willis person. I didn't grow up in that.
So the thing is, I'm not a huge
Pacifier.
That's
not Bruce Willis.
Vin Diesel. I'm not a huge Bruce Willis fan. It's probably maybe one of his best acted films. There was a stretch post Die Hard and pre was the whole 9 yards with the Matthew Perry, where he started doing like the comedy stuff. Where he tried to be like, I'm going to be a serious actor, and he tried, and he did a couple of good movies. The Sixth Sense. I mean, it's fantastic.
Oh my God, The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, so he tried, but then he kind of went away from it for money. So, all right, so that was Glass. I promise the rest of them won't be this long because they're not as great. They're not as big a deal. So we did see me and Molly had a movie session tonight with Katie and Hailee. We watched a couple of movies.
Yeah, when it was cold, we made a fort in my living room, and then we had people over to watch movies in it when it warmed up a little bit. We watched. They made me sit through D.E.B.S. And it was the best. I'm forced into like, oh, you have to watch this. You love movies, and a lot of times I'm like, I didn't love that. I didn't need to see that. There was a reason I didn't see that. No, D.E.B.S. I should have been watching years ago.
So, Kenny, you want to give people like a quick synopsis of what D.E.B.S. is?
I'm going to give the synopsis of D.E.B.S. that I got in my movie watching experience with Hailee and Matt stopping the movie, pausing, and having to discuss stuff about it just throughout it. It was driving me nuts, but also their conversation was so entertaining.
I apologize because before you go further, it's a bad movie. It's a good bad movie, but it's not a good movie.
Yeah,
it's awfully good. It's so bad it's good. You know.
So there were all these characters that were not Amy, and they were some sort of spies that were in like boarding school, and they wore these skirts that showed their innocence. So some of them had like short skirts, and some of them had longer skirts. And they were fighting crime in the ceiling, and one of them had like a hunk of a boyfriend that she was over because mysteriously just was over him. And then they meet this villain who.
Played by Jordana Brewster from the Fast and the Furious franchise.
Yes. Jordana Brewster's never looked better than D.E.B.S.
You know what? I agree. That's the best she's ever looked.
So good. And when she leaves the diamonds behind her any place she goes.
She's Lucy Diamond. So basically, she's the world's greatest thief / assassin. I'm not really sure if she's a killer or not, because at one point she threatens to blow up Australia, and not like as a joke. Like she has the means to destroy it.
To destroy Australia. I was getting there. This synopsis is not supposed to make sense. I just want to put that out there.
Okay.
So they meet the Jordana Brewster that's not Amy, and the Amy falls in love with not Amy, Jordana Brewster, and like this happens over the period of
a week maybe.
Yeah. Not Amy, Jordana Brewster kidnaps Amy, and they have this loving week, and
basically forces her to go on dates with her.
Yeah, it's like weird and a little creepy, but also it kind of worked.
And also very sweet and innocent too for such a weird plot. Where like, no, it's just talking and hand holding and maybe a kiss, maybe.
Yeah, and Lucy Diamond is this like huge villain, but she's also like the whole point is like she's just getting into the dating scene.
She's trying to fall. She wants to fall in love.
She wants to fall in love, and she's got this weird sidekick guy that's like yeah, let's get you on blind dates, and she's got a blind date with this Russian assassin that doesn't go well, and so it's then Holland Taylor is in it, and she comes in this tracksuit, and she's a hologram the whole time.
Michael Clark Duncan's in it. An Oscar winner's in this movie. Rap movie star, music video star Megan Good's in it. There's a lot of weird characters. The guy she's talking about is Jimmy Simpson. He is one of the Doyles from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. There's a lot of people like, oh, I know that person from a thing, in which half the movie was us pausing like, look up who that person was.
But let me tell you the most interesting one of, oh, I wonder who that person is. There's one scene where the girl from the music videos, she's actually doing some decent acting in this movie.
She's acting her ass off. Everyone else is like faking it, like, oh, whatever.
And she's actually killing it. Everyone else knows what this movie is, and she's intense. And actually, I would like to see her in something else. But they're talking in
Stomp the Yard. She's in Stomp the Yard.
Stomp the Yard. Oh, I've seen Stomp the Yard. But somebody runs through a hallway dramatically screaming.
That Lucy Diamond's there. That's what she yells.
Yeah. Lucy Diamond's here, and she
yells with her arms flailing.
And she's on the screen for what we've determined is about 2.5 seconds. Mm-hmm. Matt goes, hold on, pause it. I think I know that actress.
And like you barely see her face.
You don't see her face. You just see her flash through. And Hailee goes, yeah, oh my God. These two came up with the fact that she is somebody from Dexter.
She's Deb from Dexter. Like 10 years. Like she's probably like 16 in the movie. Like, and like she's so much younger. That's like years before Dexter even came out.
And I am just sitting there stunned. I was like, what is this? Because they made me rewatch this flailing, screaming scene like 6 times. This is somebody we know. In the end, you know, everything works out. The boyfriend gets dumped. They sit in the ceiling some more.
They're sitting in the ceiling, like observing people, like on swings. Like they know it's so campy. It's fun. Like they're in a school to become spies, and the boys are from Homeland Security, and they're from the D.E.B. Foundation, and they all live in like basically a sorority house.
Yeah,
and there's a graduation dance at the end, like a prom for spies.
Endgame.
Called the Endgame. It's bananas. The movie's terribly awesome.
And so the not Amy thing is there's a point where they're using some piece of technology, Lucy Diamond is, to find this girl that she had bumped into and try to figure out where she's at.
So they see all the body heat signatures in a building, like X-ray style. And then the computer says, not Amy, not Amy, not Amy. Amy. Like the binoculars were set to the Amy setting. It's insane. The whole movie's insane.
And it just, this not Amy, we've decided that we're going to go for Halloween as a bunch of us in the back. It's going to say not Amy. and then Matt's Amy.
And for the person who gets the reference, I don't know how much money or prizes we're giving up. Like, I just want to kind of like, here is your diamond. Because also, Lucy Diamond, whenever she leaves the room, she throws on millions of dollars of diamonds as her getaway calling card. Like, I have so many diamonds, I'm going to throw them at you.
It's epic.
So we watched that one, and then which is one I saw before. So I think you were the only one who had not seen it at that point.
Yeah.
Right? So then the three of them made me watch a movie called Girltrash.
Girltrash all night long.
Is that the full title? Is it actually Girltrash?
That is the full title because the original crappy web series that you can't really find anymore is just called Girltrash. The movie is Girltrash all night long.
So it's a movie that looks and sounds great. Like, I don't know how much money they had or they had a GoFundMe thing. Because, like, the cinematography looks great.
Yeah,
the
it was
audio
all
editing.
crowdfunded.
It's really well made. I tried to explain to someone else what the plot was the other day. And I was like, I think it's about 4 women that are so, like, there is these 2 friends who are in a band. And this one girl is kind of slutty. The other one is the older sister of this younger girl who's graduating college and also in a sorority, right? And her younger sister decides that she's gay all of a sudden, right? Is that what the whole synopsis is?
Yeah. Her younger sister is is the sorority type in college, and she's in the whole thing is it's her the night before graduation.
Okay.
And she just all of a sudden she's like, I'm gay. And her older sister happens to be the exact opposite grunge band gay.
And so she's trying to like hook up with this girl that she likes. And her plan to like kind of trick her liking her, she's going to fake hook up with the other girl and get caught. Was that not the synopsis at one point?
Yeah. So that part of the synopsis, in order to win over this girl, that is her fantasy. We'll get to that. In order to win her over, she's going to sleep with her sister's best friend.
But, like, not really. Just pretend.
Just fake.
Yes.
Fake. And so they're in this room, and, like, they take off their shirts or whatever. And so they're waiting for this girl, Missy, to walk in. And so they start making out and, like, actually pretending to have sex. And, like, that's not... All you had to do was just, like... Lay there with your shirts off and then, like, pull back all of a sudden. Like...
So it's those 3... And then the girl that the girl that she likes the
sister's best friend,
the promiscuous one.
Yes.
And at the same time, there is a 5th woman who has been released from prison, and one of them owed her $100,000 is what it was.
It was, yeah.
And her weapon of choice, because she's like a gangster, she's like 2 muscle dudes like drive around, is one golf club that's in a special case that she threads, like she holds like their chest and throat like it's like a katana or a machine gun. That's the way they react to this golf club.
It's a 9-iron, Matt.
Okay.
Fear the golden 9-iron. No, it's silver.
It's silver. I did not realize until we talked about the next day that golf clubs are like Thor's hammer for lesbians. Like, it's got all the power. It's Mjolnir.
That's the only way to explain why everybody runs from this golf club.
Jesus. So, and then they have to get all this money in one night, or it's going to ruin their Battle of the Bands gig that they want to do. And the one sister, the grungy sister, wants to show off to her ex, who's also in a band, who left their band, I guess, or hooked up with another singer from another band.
It's unclear.
And like win the thing to show that she should have stuck with her. or whatever, and they're going to get this money by selling drugs to her sorority.
But the thing to get is they got the drugs by stealing the grunge sisters' ex-girlfriend's current girlfriend's car.
Yes.
And they find this bag of drugs, which is apparently going to have like $100,000 worth of drugs.
Because that's what I do. I drive around
bag of drugs, so I don't know. But mixed drugs. The drugs in the bag changes every time you see the bag of drugs. And they're going to sell that to the younger sister's sorority house
for like the graduation party.
And
so I feel like I want to drop the bombshell right now, because everyone else at home is like, this seems just weird and different, but why do you think it's so funny and why it's so important? This is a musical. This is happening to singing.
We've got our shot. It is a musical, and at one point at the beginning, all of a sudden, the main character, Daisy, turns around and starts singing to the camera. And this walk-on actor who's only there for... I'll get to why that actor's there, why a lot of these actors are there, turns around and goes, why is she singing?
Yes. Also, I didn't know it was a musical, really, and like I had to like say, wait, is this actually a musical? Because you guys told me it was, but I assumed you were joking. And like...
No, we were goddamn serious, Matt.
And I am now obsessed with this soundtrack, because there is a song that says, "Why are you shitting on my dreams?" I believe.
Don't shit on my dreams. It's just my fantasy of what could possibly be, but it won't be. And the funny thing is, all of us are singing along to it. And Matt is just losing it. Like, you know the music? Yeah, like, of course we know the music.
Like, I wish you could see me in this blanket fort of a room that I am holding a craft beer in one hand and a giant hot chocolate with more marshmallows than humanly possible, because Molly made us hot chocolate, in one hand. And the word, I would assume my face...
I'm going to also help paint the picture here. There are LED rainbow uplights all around the fort, like making this fort glow from within.
I feel like the only expression on my face would be flabbergasted. I'm just like shocked, and I'm having a great time, but my brain, it's like when you try to look at one of those magic eye pictures and you're trying to see the 3D thing. Like, I'm seeing it, but I'm not actually comprehending what I'm seeing. And it's well done. The music's well done. It's well choreographed. It's well mixed. Like, it seemed like there was a lot of money in this batshit crazy movie.
Yeah, and so the plot is what it is, and they all know what it is. And the reason you're like, oh, they know what this is because all of the actors are from other lesbian movies or TV shows. So I'm going to start off with, you have Tasha from The L Word.
That's a person.
Yeah, that's a person. And then you also have, from The L Word, Molly, who dated Shane for a while. Final ship. I love them. Maybe I wanted her to be with Carmen more, but I think that had more to do with Carmen's looks. Molly was a much better match for her. Anyway.
I wish I knew what we were talking about.
You wish. There is the Erin Kelly, I believe is her name, from Loving Annabelle, the young girl from Loving Annabelle. There is, from The L Word, there is the girl that dated Jenny when she was directing the movie.
Oh, that's Jenny.
Part of the Who Killed Jenny thing. I wish I could remember her name or find her, but I'm having a lot of trouble finding her on this page. And then the two main girls, this Missy and Colby, the two girls that are aren't getting together, but they both are in love with someone else or whatever. The whole movie that eventually end up together in a backstage sex rampage. They are from South of Nowhere.
That's the name of one of our bands. Backstage Sex Rampage.
Yes.
Whatever. We're starting a new ska band called that. That's what we're doing.
Yes. And so all of these walk-on characters, or some of them are only in there for a little bit, some of them are in there the whole movie. They're all these random characters from other things you've seen in lesbian movies. And they clearly got together and went, let's crowdfund this thing and just give the lesbians what they want. A shitty musical.
Was that what they want? That's what you want? That was it?
Yes.
Okay.
That is exactly what I wanted from life.
Well, then Merry Christmas. You guys win. That is
We
fantastic.
win. And yeah. But it, like Matt said, it's like there's a scene where they're stuck in traffic and they get out of the car and they're singing, once again stuck in traffic, Counting to and
that was a real like breaking point, like a good breaking point. I was like, well, I'm in. Like I was like I tried to explain it. If you ever like, okay, it was like the first time I watched Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Did you ever watch that cartoon?
No.
Well, it's a cartoon that doesn't make any sense. And the first like twice times I watched it, I was like, thought maybe I didn't have all the relevant information, and I'm trying to like like my brain, like, you know, like when you see something, your brain like puts like the what's missing in the gap.
yeah.
For the first half of the movie, I'm like, well, maybe I'm just not understanding. And I realized, oh no, there's no understanding this. This is just things that are happening, and just go with it.
It's just happening. But they get out. They're in the middle of traffic, but it's beautifully shot. There's these lights behind them that are gorgeous.
It's like La La Land scene. I'm all for it. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was so cool. And it's this weird ballad song that they're all singing or whatever. But like, it's oddly good, which is, I don't know, part of the problem, and also the exact reason that it is what it is. And like, shout out to Tasha. So there's a rap by her. By 2 a.m. you better have a plan to get the motherfucking money up in my hands, because if you don't, you're gonna get broke, girl, or something. Like, it's just, I don't know. But you can find the soundtrack on YouTube, or I believe it's on Spotify. No, it's not on Spotify, but it is on Apple Music. It's the other way around?
Yeah, because, well, I found it on Spotify. I couldn't find it on Apple. So you can buy it on iTunes.
Oh.
So Apple Music, like the service, like I have Apple Music, the 99 cents, is really bad about soundtracks. Like they never have them on there. But if you went onto their actual iTunes and paid like 99 cents a song to download it, you can do that. You can't get the sound. You can only preview it on Apple Music, but Spotify has it.
Anyway, but
I did not spend like 20 minutes trying to find it out. I'm not so sad. Okay, all right.
Yeah, and so this is basically just a preview to the lesbians episode that will be coming out.
The highly anticipated lesbian episode.
I don't know if it's highly anticipated.
I don't know.
Or,
I almost want to listen to it again because I don't know how good it was, but it was by far one of the most fun episodes I've had in a long time. You don't see Matt just speechless very often. I have entire video and pictures of Matt silent because he just doesn't know what to say. He thought he had seen lesbian movies, but he was sadly mistaken. Like we were like trying to go through them, and I realized I'd seen a lot, but obviously I had seen.
You had seen maybe, like, I would say, had a good knowledge of 3 or 4 of them.
I had seen a lot of like mainstream movies and even some weirder ones. You guys did not watch any mainstream ones. I was like, how was it like Mulholland Drive? Really famous, nominated for an Oscar. No, you guys didn't give a shit about Mulholland Drive. We wanted to like all the famous lesbian movies. You're like, no, I don't want to talk about that
because they suck.
So,
but yeah, that's the teaser for that one.
Okay, so a couple of new movies I did see recently. I saw The Upside, starring Bryan Cranston and Kevin Hart and Nicole Kidman. Mm-hmm. It was good. It's good. It's the most least Kevin Hart's been, but he's still Kevin Hart. He's still playing that kind of guy.
Yeah.
But he's playing him like a real person. Because like Kevin Hart in a lot of movies now it's almost like when like Adam Sandler or Seth Rogen to extent, like a lot of those movies, or even like Chris Rock back in the day, or like just like people don't act like in the real world. You're basically doing your stand up to a situation.
Yeah.
He's not in this one, but he's still being like, you get his shtick. But he's basically plays an ex-con, and this is all based on a true story. That's why it makes it kind of work. He's an ex-con who's looking for a job. He's got a son that he doesn't really get along with, and an ex-girlfriend who doesn't want him part of the house anymore. Mm-hmm. He's basically homeless. He has to get so many signatures to get his like. So he's going to a place just to get a signature, and he's going for the janitor job in this building. And he goes, and there's all the other people looking for an interview, and it's this. Bryan Cranston plays this like they don't give his correct amount of money, but like. At least hundreds of millions, maybe more, maybe billions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
He was an investment banker or kind of deal, and he has like wrote a book, and he is a quadriplegic. He can only move from the neck up, so he has like this chair he can move with like his face and like that. And he needs someone to take care of him. It's called a life assistant or something. I forget what it's called. A life.
Yeah.
They got a name for it. And he walks in there, and he doesn't want to have anyone because basically the movie starts with him upset with his assistant and like kind of closest friend Nicole Kidman because he has like a do not resuscitate thing, and the guy who was before him like took him in to get. Like, save him.
Yeah. And
he basically wants to die. So he has all these people he's interviewing. He doesn't like any of them. And Kevin Hart just comes in and just doesn't know what's going on, but it's kind of been an asshole to him. And he goes, I want to hire him. And so he hires him. And he takes a job because it pays an insane amount, but he doesn't realize what he's got to do. Like, he's got to put a catheter in. He's got to bathe the guy. He's got to feed him. Yeah. And they have this weird friendship. And it kind of follows the pattern you think it's going to happen, where they get really bonded, really close, and really well, then something happens that blows it apart, and they kind of come back together.
Yeah.
It's relatively good. Bryan Cranston's good in it. Kevin Hart's good. Nicole Kidman. I've seen her in a couple movies this year. I'm like, your talents are wasted on like she's playing like third fiddle in this movie.
Yeah,
and
I don't know why she's in there.
I think she's by far the best character in the movie. But like, oh no, we saw everything I saw in this year is good. That Boy Erased, where she's playing a small part of the mom, but she was by far the best part of that movie. She's lending unworthy credence to Aquaman. Like she's in all these movies this year, like just like what I feel like giving it a 50% go and still killing it. Like
I feel like she's just taking roles she wants. Like
which
she's
is good for
done
her.
taking the roles that she kind of like wants to or strategic, and she's just doing what she wants, and she can, and she brings a lot of life to a lot of characters that might have fallen flat. She is the reason Boy Erased works.
Yeah, because I mean, Russell Crowe's fine in it, but he's not really. And Joel Edgerton, I think maybe he spent too much time directing the movie than being like the main character. I feel like the guy that got to play the boy from Boy Erased,
Lucas Hedges,
who does good, but like I mean, I know it's based on a true story, so you got to kind of follow something. Like that whole movie, I wanted him to be like, I don't know, not until the very end where he freaks out. Like there should be more, I don't know, rebellionist to it. Like he just kind of goes along with it. But I guess maybe if you were in that time frame, in that family, in that situation, you would be more hopeful, I guess.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, the movie is predicated on a lot of things that you have to. It doesn't give understanding to like the boy.
No,
you don't really get an understanding to why he does anything that he does. He's just kind of stuck in the situation, and it's not a character drama like I thought it would be.
No, it's
it was
not.
definitely a plot drama, which was interesting. But I think I
feel like his development all is like, I feel like he like, and I remember being like, is it 18 in the movies, 18 or 19, can't remember.
Yeah, something.
No, because he's not a kid, because he could sign himself out if he wanted to. That's the whole thing.
I think had just finished high school.
Yeah. No, it was because you went to the first year of college. It was the second year. Either way, you're just, when you're that kind of, sometimes you're that person, you just don't know what to do, and you expect everyone around you who are the adults to have more decisions and choices, and he's just really kind of paralyzed by all the choices of his life and just follows what they tell him to do for quite some time in this movie.
Yeah, and but Nicole Kidman plays his mother,
yes,
who eventually kind of understands that what conversion therapy is and goes, we can't let him go through this anymore, pulls him out dramatically or whatever. But the movie hinged on her giving life to this other idea of acceptance, and like that acceptance sometimes is not acceptance so much as a denial of the other side, which is this conversion therapy in this.
And she was great in it. Like
yeah.
The movie like could have been just super dark, and like even her I don't.
It was dark in comparison to like the miseducation of Cameron Post, which gave some hilarity to the situation and also showed the dark side. This movie just showed the dark side, and oddly enough had Troye Sivan in it, who wasn't bad, and he wrote a movie for it, and he obviously picked it as a passion project, but it was just kind of weird that he was there. But anyway, back to Nicole Kidman and The Upside. I actually loved this movie. I thought
you didn't see it.
No, I've seen it.
Oh, okay. Tell me what you thought about it.
I went into it and I just wanted something fun, and I wanted to let go on it. And as we've said before, I was done with sad movies. I wanted to be entertained. Yeah. And this was entertaining. I don't love Kevin Hart. I've liked some of his stuff and I've disliked some of his stuff. And I went into it, and he did so well.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, he didn't try too hard.
Yes.
He worked on the character, and the character just happened to be funny.
Don't you think he tried real hard not to try hard? Like it was probably harder for him to turn it off. Yeah. Because he's on all the time. I feel like he was trying real hard to, like that was real acting. Yeah. Yeah,
and so I really liked Kevin Hart, and I liked his character. Bryan Cranston was good in it. He doesn't get a lot to play with, but the stuff he does get to play with is fun.
That's the one thing I was a little shocked by. I was waiting for the moment from him to be Bryan Cranston. Bryan Cranston is this actor auteur. He's just fantastic. He can do anything, and he plays a really refined, scaled back character.
Yeah,
I mean, we have that great scene where he gets angry, starts smashing stuff. That's great. The two crux of this movie that I think are great scenes is the scene where he goes on the date with Julia Margulies from The Good Wife.
Yes,
that scene is heartbreaking in the reality of it, because you feel what that would be like. That moment of hope and understanding, and this like where you can like. I think with like a worse director, because the way it's shot, and a worse acting, that thing feels so contrived and like a plot point.
Yeah,
that felt completely organic. You could believe like someone could have this these two characters have been writing each other. They have like a completely like I forgot the name of the relationship where they just write romantic letters back and forth for like over a year.
Yeah.
And they decided to meet, and he's never told her that he's a quadriplegic. But like there was like Kevin Hart and Nicole were like, yeah, she obviously Googled you. You're famous. There's no way she didn't Google you. You know, like there's no way. And they get there, and she does accept him right away. But like really halfway through this meal, after a few. I think she comes in with like, let's hope that she can be a real strong person, and it's just like super tiny mistakes like breaks this fantasy for her, and she realizes she's made a terrible mistake, and it breaks the whole thing in a weird way. I like it. It's such a great
and
scene.
it was extremely realistic.
Yes.
And the movie fell short just a little bit for me in the fact that I wanted more of Kevin Hart's character in his home life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially there should have been. I really wish this movie was like 20 to 30 minutes longer. After we stopped, because I wanted like it looked like Kevin Hart's doing really well. That business, and since it's based on a true story, you know this is real.
Yeah,
like I want to know more about him and the kid and like what's going on after that. I don't like unless it's tragic and that's why they didn't leave it in. I don't know, but
there's a version of this movie that is Oscar worthy.
I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah,
and also I mean I feel like the reason it was not it was supposed to be released before Oscars, but then he had his whole controversy, so they pushed it past it.
Yeah,
and also it wasn't.
It wouldn't have made it.
If they had a studio push behind it, I feel like you could have got a nod for Nicole Kidman. I feel like you could have got a nod for screenwriting. You know?
Yeah,
there would have been like at least the Golden Globes would have given it love because they're much more generous with their this. Okay, this would have gotten them to go for comedy.
Yeah,
and easily,
and it was funny, and it was also touching.
Yes,
it was not as it was not as I guess. Dark as I thought it was going to end up.
Yes, I was expecting to be darker.
Yeah, and it wasn't. I loved it. Also, a shout out to Aja Naomi King from How to Get Away with Murder. She had a very small part in it, but I wanted more of her. There was something interesting to her character.
Yeah.
And so basically you're just kind of left wanting more at the end of it, but you loved what you saw.
So if you were to give it like a grade, what would you give this one? I was struggling with this one. Like, so you liked it. I liked it, but like sometimes it's hard to like give like a full grade to it, like unless I can bounce it off someone. Like
I don't know that it was necessarily an A, but it was exactly what I wanted it to be. It was lighthearted.
Right?
Yeah, it was at least a B, and I would give it an A- because it was exactly what I wanted.
Okay. I was hoping for a little more, because I saw this trailer a while ago. I was expecting an Oscar movie.
Yeah.
But once I saw they pushed back, they passed the Oscar. You're like, okay, your Oscar not getting that, which happens every year with certain movies that the studio tries to make an Oscar. It's like, remember like 2 years, like was the last year when The Founder came out with starring Michael Keaton? Everyone thought that was an Oscar movie.
Yeah.
And they pushed it, they do that with a lot of movies when it's like, they did like Gran Torino a few years ago. It's like, like it's in this season, it's going to get Oscar. It should be you want to put out around the Oscars, but it's not going to have to get nominated. So we want to put out past that time.
Yeah, and I was really worried when they released Black Panther in February last year that it wasn't going to get any Oscar credit, and it did, which I'm very happy about. But that's another episode.
Yep. Okay. So we both liked it then.
Yeah, we both liked it.
The last movie I saw because where are we at, Molly? How far are we?
We are at 47 minutes.
Oh,
so we got just enough time.
Okay, so my last I really wanted like a 40-minute one, but okay. We talked too much about Debs and Girltrash.
No, I think we talked too much about Glass.
Yeah, it was my fault. I'm sorry. You should have stopped me. Someone needs to stop me. Someone's texting us. But can you make some noise while I respond?
Yeah. You just want noises like.
There we go. I'm back. Okay. So the last thing I want to talk about, I saw the movie Bumblebee. It's the newest Transformer movie. I saw it with Paul. I believe our guest is at the door. If you want to grab her.
Okay.
So the last thing I want to say is the second best of all the Transformer movies. It's a prequel set in the 80s. It is the origin of the Bumblebee character from the Transformer movies. It stars John Cena and Hailee Steinfeld from True Grit and the Pitch Perfect sequels. It's funny. It's got an 80s John Hughes vibe to it. It's got two things. It's got a original storyline arc for a Transformer movie for most of the movie. And then the first 10 minutes, you finally get all the Transformer action that we never really got. We got to see Cybertron. We got to see all the characters looking in their 80s-esque cartoon version of it. It's funny. It doesn't take itself so serious. It's not as good as the first Transformer movie, but it did well enough. I hope it keeps doing more of these movies because it's the first one outside of Michael Bay directing and producing and doing that kind of stuff. There's a lot of action in the first 10 minutes and then 15. And then it's really just a funny comedy about it for a while until the very, very end. My favorite line of the movie is John Cena yelling at other generals saying, how can we trust them? Their name is Decepticons. Deception is in the name. Am I the only one who sees this? It's for kids. It's and kid, adult kids, but it's fun. It's fun and cute. And, I give it a solid B. It's got good action. It's for a Transformer movie. It's very small budget. It's very simple. There's this Hailee Steinfeld, his name is, right? I screwed up her name from Pitch Perfect and Steinfeld. She is such a good actress. She needs to be more stuff. She gives a lot of weight to this weird character who should not be she lost her dad, an idea basically. And she's alone, and she's got a new stepdad, and she's got she's not fitting with her new family and her new life. Yeah. And she just wants to get out of there. And she makes a best friend, this robot from outer space. And the whole idea is he's supposed to go to Earth after the fall of Cybertron to set up an outpost. And when he gets there, he's intercepted by a couple of bad guys. He defeats them, but his memory is disabled. He kind of has no power left. So he doesn't know who he is and what's going on for half part of the movie. He's just being this half little brother, half dog to this like a pet almost to her at the beginning, and then eventually because she's a mechanic, that's her job. She fixes cars and stuff, and she helps him get online again. And by the time the world is in threat, he remembers who he is and that he's a soldier and he's gonna save her. There's this really great scene where he obviously loves her like a family, and where she's about to be one of the bad guys. He's always the compassionate one in the storyline. Bumblebee's the nice guy. And she gets almost killed at one point, and he loses, and his eyes turn from blue to red because that's how those kind of movies work. And he goes full blown killer. He's about to kill people for her, and she stops him. Stops, stands in front, and saves him. So they kind of save each other, and then it has a nice tie into the original. They explain how he goes from a VW Bug to a Camaro. We find out later. We find out how he goes from to San Francisco, where they find him much later in the movies, that kind of stuff. So you get to see all that stuff, and you finally get to see Optimus Prime look like the Optimus Prime we've always seen and fight on Cybertron. So I feel like they're we're not sure if we're gonna make another one of these movies ever again. This is a weird kind of last inch prequel to kind of reboot the series. Let's throw it all in there. Because they already throw a lot of the action. We saw the Dinobots, we saw everything else, but let's throw the one thing fans have been bitching about, let's make them look like the cartoons. Let's make it look like that. So, it's well, if you have kids, take it to see it. It's fun.
And a note on Hailee Steinfeld. She was in True Grit.
True Grit, yes.
And I loved her. And then I was so excited for her. She was in
Pitch Perfect 2.
Pitch Perfect 2. She was also in 17 again. Or no.
Wasn't she in the?
What is it called?
The Coming Age. I came out last year. I liked it a lot. It was fantastic. It was
it was one of my favorite movies that year.
What is it? At the Edge of the Universe, Edge of 17? The Edge of 17.
Edge of 17.
Yes.
Edge of 17. She was in that, and she was really good. I just really want to see her in more good roles because, like you said, Bumblebee, she just kind of steals the show. She's got a nuanced way of acting, and I really like her. I want to see her in a lot more. But she has the ability. She's young and has the ability to do whatever the hell she wants, and she does it.
And she's great in it. And John Cena, who's now been in a couple movies this year, he's funny. He just kind of he was great in Trainwreck. He was great in Cock Blockers. He was good in this. I don't think he's ever going to win an Oscar or anything, but he knows to be an opposing physical specimen and be funny and make Arnold without the accents, and some actual acting. So. I hope to see more from him. He's good in this one.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That was our quick mini episode. God, we're gonna get a mini episode to the right amount one of these days.
We're not allowed to do mini episodes. There has to be someone to
stopping us. We need Paul here to yell at us to tell us.
Yeah, because we're bad at this. But
because we like talking too much. And I talked about Glass way too long. You should have shut me up. You should have. When I asked you if you saw Unbreakable Split, you should have said yes. So I didn't tell those movies. Yes, man. I for sure saw those movies.
Yeah.
Just talk about Glass.
Yeah, I've seen those. But so thank you.
Thank you for listening. If you want to follow us on social media, we've rebranded our YouTube channel. What is it, Molly?
Better in 3D Podcast.
And you can follow us on Instagram at Better in 3D.
Yep.
Or on YouTube is 3D Better. On Twitter is 3D Better. I am Not That Maddie on Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter, and Macri on Facebook.
I am Wilmo Baggins on Tumblr.
And if you want to follow Mike, he's Mike Dennerman across all social media, especially when you want to hire him to do photography or some cinematography. He just got done shooting an independent movie this week. It looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike's out there just killing it. I mean, there's no time for our podcast anymore, and it hurts my feelings, but whatever. And if you want to find Paul, he's Paul the Last Dinosaur on Instagram. And if you want to follow Allison, she's Thistle_Wick at Instagram. And I think that's everything we should do. Oh, and once again, thank you to our sponsor, Peace Yoga and Wellness Center in Niagara Falls, Wisconsin. As always, they're our one and only sponsor. And our unofficial sponsor, Cool Ice, the beer of champions. And until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye.